Hey, let me explain my social justice. This is Carrot. Um, I believe in a social justice that's not progressive, at least socially progressive, economically progressive, which is kind of like socially because there's a class consciousness in a capitalist society. And I'm all for capitalism, at least a mixed capitalist society. So there's three principles that I adhere to, and this is why I talk about hating social justice and not wanting to be a progressive authoritarian and not liking diversity or tolerance or inclusion or in some ways questioning equality, but that's a difficult subject because it sounds like I'm saying that there can be a hierarchical level of persons, and I don't think so. There's a, all men are created equal, so fine. That's the basis of that. But to say equality is to say that all men and women and people measure the same. They may be equal, but how they measure up is not an inherent quality of any particular person, class, race, religion, whatnot. There's no superior people, but there are measurable individuals. There is a meritocracy, I'm going to say. There is a picking order of the worth of an individual, but then again, how do you measure that worth of an individual? It's a question because there's no fixed point of reference, except a subjective one. How do you get to that subjective point, though? And do some people deserve less rights? And I'm not going to get into privilege. I don't believe in privilege. Well, I do believe in privilege, but not based on... Well, not based on classes. I forgot the word. I'm sorry. It blanked out and stuff. Oh, identity politics. I don't care about race. I don't care about gender. I don't care about sexuality, orientation, because it only leads to identity politics. And that is a form of authoritarianism, even if it's a progressive one. It's not dynamic. In 1964, when we had the establishment and we had fixed social, gender, and class roles, a hierarchical view of status, both economic and social, then yes, I tentatively agree. There was an issue with being anti-establishment or progressive in a dynamic way to challenge the establishment because, as I said before, you do have a problem in a democracy or even a representative democracy, a representative republic, of minority representation in a democratic voice of the people situation. People will be represented and subjugated if they are deemed to be a subgroup. But see, those subgroups just keep growing and growing and growing and dividing and dividing and dividing until what you've got is a type of freaking cultural Marxism, socialism, neo-socialist, committee on committee on committee that destroys any democratic hope for being represented as a democratic whole on representative republic, which is supposed to be inclusionary to a democratic ideal. Can't have that if you've got a subtype or all these problems, with identity politics and all these subclasses. But then again, paradoxically, you do need some of those representations somewhat. Now, how do you define, what paradigm would you use to say, judge who gets and who doesn't get a part of the zero-sum game pie? Well, one thing I believe as an economic progressive, although it's kind of a shaky idea because you can't objectively coherently I can't think of the word, but you can't objectively put it together. You can't say definitively is the word, put together a cohesive set of things that say that what I believe would work, if it could work, would be a social capital metric. The metric could always shift and change, and that could be subject to abuse in a capitalist and a corporatist society. That's the way it is. But generally, the idea is better than welfare, disability, charity, and such things. I believe in I'm a social progressive. I believe in a friggin' minimum income, a minimum guaranteed income, as opposed to these other things that create entitlements. Although I would say that if you're going to get a minimum guaranteed income, you have to be somewhat accountable. Well, you would have health care. And with people being able to pay their own things, and maybe a more dynamic society, we could have better social workers and a social safety net that's not based on identity politics to actually catch some of these things like mental health, abuse, crime, some crimes. This philosophy of rape thing came up on the channel, and either it's a Poe thing or it's serious, where people are freaking talking online about how to get away with raping someone because those femme bitches need to be corrected. That's sick, and worse off, as an anti-feminist who is opposed to identity politics, because I don't think it works, it emboldens that. So it's an ugly, ugly downward spiral dynamic in either way, Either you're feeding something that's ugly, or you're ignoring it and it festers. It's just, we live in an information age, and that's the problem, is instant feedback gratification. Well, we also have social networking that could turn ugly. But you can't control everything. So there it is there. But anyway, how do you get to this dynamic where things like a social capital metric and things like identity politics and feminism, are downplayed into actual productive social capital that can lead to nonpartisanship and growth and a dynamic culture, both socially and politically. What are the things that you could use? The dynamics. Well, I think there's three. Instead of diversity, tolerance, inclusion, And all these buzzwords for social justice, which I don't think is really justice at all, there would be three things that could be used instead. And that is liberty, justice itself, which is different from social justice in its concept. Liberty, justice, and freedom. I think those are the three things that matter in a representative capitalist democracy. Excuse me. Because, let's go through those three things really quickly. Freedom means under the law, under justice under the law, and I'll get to justice in a minute. I'm going to have to cut this short because I've only got 15 minutes. Under justice under the law, you have equal representation. Justice is like a punishment and a prevention. But it's also fairness. So, police abuse isn't justice. A lot of things under the law aren't really justice, because justice entails both freedom, the right to just not be bothered, not to maybe show your ID all the time and have your window broken out, not to freaking have an authoritarian state, and liberty. Liberty is, I think, a confused thing, because liberty is a right to be free of the government infringing upon your rights, but it's also the right to have the government, in a limited degree, I think, protect certain positive rights. And, it's a balance with justice between freedom of positive and negative rights. And I think that's very important. And it evolves. We're not an 1776, 1800 society where a gun is freedom. Our society has changed. Partially because guns are no longer so effective. They aren't, there's bombs, missiles, radios, police, training, information, disinformation by the media. These open carry guys and stuff, it's almost to the point of pointless. And it doesn't really represent a dramatic either, dynamic, because everybody and their brother doesn't have a freaking one-shot flintlock, with mass assault guns and stuff. Oh, I'm not for freaking gun control. I don't think mass gun manufacturers is a good thing either. So, there's, well, anyway, the point is that there's negative and positive rights. And that has to be balanced with freedom and justice to have liberty. And not social justice, but which is more freedom and justice, but liberty itself, which in some ways is social justice too, because it's the right of the individual to have the government protect them. Anyway, I'm out of time. That's what I mean by why I oppose frigging social progressiveness, because I don't think it serves the dynamic. And the narrative is stuck in 1964. We could move on. It's almost 2064. About 100 years, I think the thing is up. Goodbye.